Hello, viewers. Today we have with us Mr. Vinod Kevin Bachan. He's an Odissi dancer, and he's all set to perform at India Habitat Center 2 days from now on Wednesday. And he hails from Trinidad and Tobago and is a senior disciple of Guru Ranjana Gauhar. Welcome, Vinod.
Namaste, and thank you for having
Namaskar.
me.
Yeah, our pleasure. So, you belong to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, I was born there,
What? Huh? Tell
and
me a little about your family life there.
um, well, I come from a mixed background. My dad's
Hmm.
family, they're Indians from UP,
Hmm.
and my mom is mixed. She's African, Indian, and little European mixed. And she's
Okay.
from another country in the West Indies called Barbados. So
Okay.
her heritage is from there. So
Hmm.
I'm a little mixed, but as you can see, my entire makeup is like Indian only.
Yeah, that's true. But you're born and brought up there.
Yeah, I came to learn dance from 2009.
No, I'll
Like,
come to that.
yeah.
So, what attracted you to Indian dances and that to Odissi? Where did you first? What attracted you to Indian dances?
Luckily for me in Trinidad, the Indian diaspora is like really huge. It's about 32% of its population, and there have been many Trinidadians who have gone and studied abroad, and few Indians who were dancers who had come and settled there.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing Indian classical dance was not new for me,
Mm. Okay.
and um, when I saw Odissi the first time, I was really, mesmerized, and I really wanted to learn it. But um, the first teacher refused because
No,
she
where
was
did
not.
you see the no? Where did you see the Odissi dance performance? How old were you?
I was young. I was probably about 10, 9 or 10.
Okay, at that
Um,
age, you were attracted to it.
yeah, the music sold me. Like, even to date, when I hear Odissi music, my paws on my hands and all, it rises. So,
Okay.
since that age, I had known of it, and when my my background, my parents were not interested in
Hmm.
dance because my dad's family, we are Arya Samajists on my dad's side,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they all pundits and all, so it was very difficult for me to get into art in terms of dance.
Hmm.
Music was okay, but not dancing.
Hmm.
So when I was a teenager, I tried to learn
Hmm.
dance, but it did not happen
Hmm.
because, as I said, the first teacher refused because I was a boy, and then the teacher who I eventually joined, she lives very far away, so it was very difficult at the age of, let's say, 13 or 14 to go to her place to learn. So
In
I learned
Trinidad
kuchipudi
itself.
in Trinidad itself. So I learned kuchipudi
Okay.
first, and
Okay.
kuchipudi landed on my lap, as you can see, because
Hmm.
two of my childhood friends. Now I didn't know that they were learning kuchipudi. I happened to see them performing one day. And then
Hmm.
I asked them, I said, what is this? And they explained Kuchipudi. And I just wanted to dance. At that point, I didn't really care. So I learned Kuchipudi
Hmm.
to keep dancing.
Okay. Then.
All this happened with that.
Hmm.
So then,
So
when I yeah,
your dad was okay with it. You're learning kuchipudi. No.
nobody knew. Nobody knew.
Okay.
I did it all
Okay.
undercover. Um,
Okay.
I was, this was in high school. So
Mm-hmm.
I just had tuition for one subject. And
Hmm.
um, that tuition, I used to say I had extra tuition, like, and then I used to go for dance classes on those days.
Okay.
So that's how I learned that, because my dad was not too keen, because
Hmm.
from the family background perspective, this I, as a
Mm,
somebody who's belonging to such a family, I shouldn't be dancing.
mm.
So
Uh,
so again Odyssey came back to me. They ICCR had brought a artist, and she came with
mm,
live music. And after her performance, I was so mesmerized I couldn't sleep. And then she had a
mm.
workshop 2 days later, and I attended the workshop, and I never knew that dance could become a career. For we've
Okay.
always been taught as kids it's just a hobby.
Mm,
Then she opened my mind, and then she explained, and how to make dance a career. And
mm.
I
Who
think
was
maybe
that?
her
That
name was
person?
Sangeeta Das. She lives in Pondicherry.
Okay.
And I think maybe 2 or 3 months later, I would by this time
Mm,
I was in college. I was in college
mm,
second year.
mm, mhm,
No, I had completed second year. Sorry, and
mm.
I just left and I went directly to Bhubaneswar to learn Odissi dance.
Acha.
I left my college,
Okay. Then
everything, and went to.
against the wishes of your dad.
By then, my dad knew that I was learning dance. He was not
Mm,
too keen. My mom was
mm,
supportive, but my dad was not too keen at. I think when he first saw me when I came back from Bhubaneswar and he saw
mm.
exactly what I was doing, then he was fine, and then he became
Okay.
supportive. It was, um, the influx of Bollywood and all. It's really strong in Trinidad, so you
Mm.
know, in his mind, I would have become one of those Bollywood dancers.
Okay. Okay. So,
Yeah.
which year was that when you went to Bhubaneswar, and how long did you stay there and learn? Who did you learn from?
I went there in um, 2009, and
Okay.
I lived in Orissa for probably about 2.5 years.
Mm,
I learned there are different gurus in Odissi dance, and I was initially learning the Deva Prasad Das style,
okay.
and there I would always give credit to Orissa for building my foundation.
Mm-hmm.
But as somebody who had a stronger goal for dance in terms of learning beyond just the dance, and to learn the theory, and to learn the small small intricacies, I was not finding
Mm,
it there. So
okay.
one of my good friends, he suggested I move out of Orissa,
Mm,
and we searched online, and then we found my Guruji, Padma Shri Nassine Awadi, Guru Ranjana Gauhar. We saw her
mm,
profile, I saw her body of work, I saw all the things that she had accomplished, which was
mm,
far greater than, many dancers I had seen.
mm,
And I thought, okay, this is the person I need to go to, because she's an
mm,
author, she makes documentaries, she makes films, she has her own
mm,
institution, she's a
mm,
choreographer, so multifaceted. And
mm.
as somebody who was seeking so much more, I realized I needed to come to Delhi.
Okay.
So um, I shifted to Delhi in 2014,
Okay.
and yeah, I've been here
Five
ever
five
since.
years later.
I
Five
what
years
happened?
later.
I kept going and coming, no, to
Mm,
Bhubaneswar. I was not there constantly. So in
okay.
totality, the length of time that I stayed there, living
Mm,
would have been 2.5 years.
okay.
But when I
Okay.
shifted to Delhi, I probably must have visited my home once, and that's it. I've never. The
Okay.
last I visited my home was in 2017, and I've been in Delhi ever since.
Okay.
And that's why I
So,
went home for the.
I didn't get you.
When I went home the last time, it was for like 3 weeks. I didn't stay, as long as I used to stay when I was living in Bhubaneswar. I used to go for long periods in Bhubaneswar, 6 months,
Okay.
and
Okay.
yeah,
So, your parents are still there in Trinidad,
yeah. My parents are still there in Trinidad,
and they
and
are
I'm
happy
here.
now.
Yeah, because when I was in college, I was never too happy with the academic life, and
Mm,
I started my first year in one stream, then I changed it to something else because I didn't
mm,
like the and then I almost changed it into something again, and then
Okay.
dance, fell, and it has stuck, with me.
Uh,
And
uh,
whatever challenges I have ever faced in life, it was dance, and of
hmm.
course, Guruji has always been there to support me and to, you know, uh, take me forward.
Okay. So 2014, you first approached Miss Gauhar to be her disciple. So
Yes,
how was
I.
that experience? Did she take you like that easily?
Um, no, generally, with my Guruji, she meets you first, then she
Hmm.
makes you dance, see where you are at the dance level, then she'll talk to you and see where you are mentally, what is your purpose with dance.
Hmm. Hmm.
And all this I had to go through, and I was not in a good phase when I came to her.
Hmm.
And she I used to sit quiet after I used to do classes, but I would sit quietly, I wouldn't share much, I wouldn't open up things.
Hmm.
And she took me for a picnic tour. We went to Rajasthan, and it was there that the ice
Hmm.
was broken, and I shared my desires with dance, and she guided
Hmm.
me on what I should be doing.
Hmm.
And you know, um, Guru Shishya Parampara is not just about sitting in the class and doing the basics and items. It's about conversations and understanding where
Hmm.
both parties are at a mental
Hmm.
and emotional
Hmm.
level. Because without these two, then the parampara will not. It will just be like a teacher and a student.
Hmm. Hmm.
But here for us in Utsav, it is a
Hmm.
proper parampara because ma'am invests time in each and every student, to see
Hmm.
where they
Hmm.
are, what are they doing, how can the things of dance motivate the kids to be
Hmm.
better individuals.
Hmm.
Because over the years I've seen
Hmm.
kids becoming more punctual who are not punctual, being more proactive, they've become more responsible, they've become more respectful. So that's when the parampara works, because it's not only limited to the dance class, it's at large,
Hmm.
you know
Hmm. It's life.
absolutely, it is life.
It's learning life. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, dance is one
So,
aspect of individuality. Your entire
yeah.
life, when you
Hmm.
move away from the dance, how you are as a
Hmm.
human being matters
Hmm.
most.
Yeah. That is what is molded in the Guru Shishya Parampara,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah. So, where was your first public performance after that?
So I did a lot of group work
Uh,
initially because I needed to groom. My Guruji felt I needed to groom before I became a soloist. And but I did a lot of programs with the troupe, the Utsav repertory. I did my first solo 2 years later in 2000, not 2 years later, 1 year later, sorry, or maybe two, I think. 2 years later in Delhi in Lok Kala Manch.
okay.
And um, it was really well received. And from then on, my Guruji has been pushing me, and she's been my main force for me to do a solo, to become a soloist, to stand out in my work, and in the legacy that we follow, the legacy of her guru and her legacy, which has been showered upon me. So it has, since 2016, that guidance as a soloist has never stopped, and it's still going, especially now for this program, because it is the first time I'm choreographing on my
Okay.
own.
Okay.
So, it was her challenge for me to do my own work and my own choreographies, so that, that level of a dancer, not just being a performer, but to also create is important, especially at this age, because then later on it becomes, beneficial. You get to a stage, you learn from your mistakes, you learn to grow, because no dancer is on 100%. We all make mistakes, and we all learn from it. So that is the you know main reason why she insisted that I do choreographies, especially. So that's why this event has come into being.
Okay. So, tell us a little about this sutra that you have choreographed. What is the story behind that you are portraying?
So, Sutra, the tagline is the tale that never ends. So, it's divided into two pieces. The first is called Rasa, which is in Odia, and it is on Krishna Radha. And the tales of Krishna Radha never ends. Since time immemorial, even till date, their story is continuing. And it's going,
Yeah.
a lot of it's their inspiration for many dancers, singers, theater artists, so that's why I put the tale that never ends, because this tale of Krishna Radha will always continue. If not dance, it will be in books, it will be in, multifaceted thing. This piece describes their love and the joy they meet when they unite in the forest. They're dancing among the birds, the flora and fauna. And it is, again, like I said, it's in Odia. So it's in that very traditional Odia flavor. And,
Okay.
how Odia people worship during processions of Krishna Radha. So it's very
Okay.
strong Odia flavor and taste. And the
Okay.
second piece, which is Bhoomi Suta, it is based on Sita's perspective and Sita's episodes from the Ramayana. And
Okay.
this was an original choreography of my guru.
Okay.
And I am blessed that she has handed it over to me. And I have put my inputs into it. So here so this was a part of a larger production, but I've taken her part and I've made it into a piece, an entire piece. And here I'm playing multiple characters. Of course, the main is Sita, but here I'm also
Okay.
Ram, Hanuman, I'm the Sutradhar. So it's a
Okay.
solo, all-encompassing piece. And
Okay.
generally, in Ramayana, we mostly hear about the praises of Ram. And, we just wanted to take this out and just focus on Sita and her
Okay.
perspectives and her feelings and emotions, because they're both the main characters of this epic. So, and again, Ramayana is something that there are so much versions, and from that time till now, it has continued and it will continue again through dance and music. So again, Sutra, the tales that never ends, because Krishna, Radha, and Sita are never-ending stories.
Yeah. So for the portrayal of, see, in most of the Ramayans that are there, the Sita's part of story is not much written about. So what you have portrayed is your interpretation of what she must have gone through, or did you refer some books? Because I know there are certain books who are writing Sita's perspective, how she
So,
felt. It's otherwise
yeah.
Ramayana is
So,
mostly about Ram, no?
of course. So again, there are different versions of Ramayana. There's Tulsidas's, Valmiki, then Orissa has its own Ramayana. Ramanatika from
Okay.
the south has a different version. You know, whose perspective is correct and whose perspective is right. So I have taken my Guruji, because she's a script writer. She has taken pieces from Tulsidas, pieces from Valmiki,
Okay.
this is from
Okay.
Odia Ramayana, Ramanatika, and compiled it and made it into this production, because um, I myself have read Valmiki's Ramayana, the Adbhut Ramayana, and there, you'll see differences. You'll see differences in Tulsidas' Ramayana versus Valmiki's Ramayana. So
Okay.
it's up to the reader and, of course, the choreographer what perspective they will choose and portray. So in her vision, because this piece was specific to showing that, so she has taken bits and pieces from there and created this beautiful piece. I have done the
Okay.
Sutras piece in terms of the
Mm-hmm.
choreography. It was already there. I just sewed it together so that the lay
Mm-hmm.
audience can understand sequentially how the Ramayana has flowed
Okay.
from the beginning till the end.
Okay. Okay. So, is this your first performance after the pandemic, or you
I have
performed
no, I've been
between?
performing, but this is my first choreographic
No,
debut
no, through the
in the.
pandemic. There were 2 years of lull, no, for all the artists.
Luckily for
So,
us, artists had to become smart in the lockdown. So we were having
okay.
quite a few festivals online. So from the
Okay.
comfort of home, we would create studio. We had created studios with lights, and we just like how we are streaming live. We used to stream
Yeah.
live with cameras. Of course, it's
Mm.
not like a cinematic quality, but at least for
Mm.
the audience, they were able to see us. So we carried on for the lockdown. It's
Mm.
not that we were
Mm.
sitting.
Acha.
So dance programs were happening
Mm.
until auditoriums were open. Then again,
Mm.
it got restarted into auditorium format. Of course, that took a toll because
Mm.
there was no money.
Ah.
Because of the lockdown, there was quite a bit
Yeah.
of loss. But now things
Yeah.
are picking up, and hopefully we'll get back to
Okay.
the glory that it used to be before the lockdown.
Yeah, sure, sure. Acha, where all have you performed, Vinod? Across India as well as abroad? What all places have you traveled to
I,
for your shows?
I, in India, I performed in most of the major platforms like NCP in Bombay, Khajuraho, Kunal
Hmm.
Festival. I've performed in
Okay.
Hampi, our very
Okay.
own festival in Hampi, which is really huge. And I've performed multiple places in all states.
Hmm.
Almost, I've done a lot of performances and workshops.
Okay.
Because of my Guruji, also most of the
Hmm.
places I've traveled is with her for Swiknike. Of
Okay.
course, I've done solo in multiple places as well. I've traveled
Hmm.
abroad. I've been to Malaysia. I've been to the UK. I've been to few islands in the Caribbean,
Hmm. And your birthplace?
Brazil. Of course, I always perform when I go back home, but
Okay.
the problem there is people will come to watch, of course, but to
Hmm.
learn, they're not interested.
Okay.
For them, they can
Okay.
just look at a video and emulate what they think it is, and that's enough,
Okay.
which is not.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So tell us about your daily routine. Like how many hours a day do you do your own riyaz, your own learning?
Um, Minimum 6 hours should be
Okay.
ideal. The more I can get time, it will be greater. But also because I'm a faculty member at Utsav, I have to teach,
Mm-hmm.
and with
Mm.
it becomes like practice because you are also dancing to demonstrate to the students. You also dance with
Mm.
the students also. So while
Mm.
they're dancing, you are dancing so that you emulate, and they are able to
Mm.
pick up the movement as well. So,
Mm.
routine starts with walking and then yoga, exercises, then practice. Then, of course, breakfast
Mm.
in between, and then you take a break.
Mm.
Then again, you
Mm.
restart because
Mm.
dance for us has multiple layers. There's the basics, then
Mm.
the item. So, and then in the evening, if there's rehearsals or you need to work on something, that is there. So base,
Okay.
it's generally like 5 to 6 hours.
Okay. So today, when you look back at your life, from the time maybe 2009, when you actually got interested in this thing and you traveled to India, till today, how do you
Yeah.
view your journey?
Um, it's, I mean, there has been a lot of ups and downs in my journey,
Hmm.
but it's a beautiful journey regardless because the downs have made me become a stronger person, and it has taught me multiple things in life about how to deal with situations, how to maneuver things. And it's been a really beautiful journey, and it's going to continue to be a beautiful journey because I am doing doing what I love, which
Hmm.
not a lot of people can do. You know,
Hmm.
a lot of people choose to follow the mainstream career
Hmm.
path for whatever various
Hmm.
reasons.
Hmm.
But for me, it's a blessing to do what I love.
Hmm.
That's why I feel like this journey is a beautiful journey and will continue to be a beautiful journey.
Okay. Okay. So, in the see, from the time when you were a student, a small student, a young learner, to today, you where you are teaching young learners. So, what sort of difference do you see in the students then and students now?
Mm, when I was learning, when I initially joined, kids were a little more focused, because
Hmm.
they didn't have itna sara, extracurricular activities, just maybe one or two, so
Hmm.
their focus will be really into what they
Hmm.
were doing at the moment.
Hmm.
But of late, I've seen, not just from my experience, but like when I listen to my other friends and all, kids have so much
Hmm.
extracurricular activities, they're not able to focus on
Hmm.
anything. Matlab, they come to
Hmm.
dance, then in their mind they're also thinking, oh, I have to go somewhere else.
Okay.
So their thought process in the class is not there, because
Hmm.
their minds are so occupied with what I have to do next. So they're not able to
Hmm.
enjoy, they're not able to absorb, they're not able to digest what is being taught.
Hmm.
Of course,
Hmm.
there will always be few students who are like really sharp and really interested, regardless of
Hmm.
their schedule or whatever else. But of lately, this is like a major problem because of the amount of extracurricular activities that they have and the pressure from schools, of course, to study and whatnot. Because I feel like double fold pressure has come.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So after this Wednesday's performance, are there any other performances lined up? Are there any events coming up?
There are quite a few. There are quite a few. I have to travel to out of
Hmm.
Delhi. Then in
Okay.
our own institution, we have quite a few performances as well. We are going to debut, not debut, but we are going to
Huh.
perform a really beautiful production of my Guruji on Kabir, which
Okay.
it's very rare because his character is such, it's very, his poetry, his songs, it's
Hmm.
really high philosophy. But
Hmm.
my Guruji has managed to make a production on his philosophy,
Hmm.
and there I play Kabir, and we are going to
Okay.
debut this very soon. And not, I keep saying debut. We are going to do it
Huh.
in Delhi again very soon,
Okay.
and
Okay.
it's really, we are really looking forward to it. Plus,
Uh,
Guruji and I are planning to work on a few choreographies as well. Um,
okay.
to evolve and to keep working and to try new things. So this is what we are.
Oh.
This is what is happening. A dancer's work. Like this, it can come. Last minute also, like 2 days before, they'll be like, okay, there's a program.
Yeah.
And you want to
Yeah.
perform or whatever. It's never
Huh.
constant.
Yeah. That's right. So,
Yeah.
Vinod, one question is that you are performing Odissi, which is mostly dominated by women in India. In fact, most of the Indian classical dances are dominated, women dominate in them. So, how
Yeah.
challenging was it for you to make a name for yourself? You have made a name for yourself in the field. So, how challenging was it?
Um, One thing I will say in Orissa,
Hmm.
the number of male Odissi dancers are much more than females, but
Okay.
it's just that there was a time where there were more women who are performing than men, but now that has changed. And
Okay.
the only problem with it is because the mindset is that
Hmm.
Odissi dance is female because it's a very last year oriented style.
Hmm. Hmm.
And even some of my friends from other classical styles who are male dancers, they also face the same problem. It's not just in Odissi.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, quite a few organizers prefer women, and they tend to not take male dancers for whatever their reasons are, personal or otherwise. It initially had been a huge challenge because you have to double prove yourself, prove that you are a good dancer, and prove that as a male dancer you're very good. You can fit any mold, any character, and then you have to push yourself even more in this society. Like it's a lot of work. But once you've reached that point, then it's okay. Then people don't look at your gender anymore. Then they start looking at your
Okay.
work. But as a young
Okay.
dancer who is coming into in the industry, they feel that pressure because people say to your face openly. I've heard it multiple times that, oh, you're a good dancer, but we prefer a female. It's quite discouraging
True.
for a young person.
Hmm.
So if you don't
Hmm.
have that strength, and of course, like I keep saying, because my Guruji is always pushing me to not give up, I pushed through. And I was able to at least, break such barriers in Delhi.
Okay. Okay. You never thought of going back to Odisha?
No,
No.
not at all.
Delhi, how do you
I go
find
for
Delhi
performance.
apart from no, apart from the fact that you have your Guruji here, otherwise, other than that, how do you rate Delhi as a city that how does it treat the artists?
Delhi's home for me. It has become my home. And Delhi is the capital. No matter what we think about it, Delhi is the capital of Indian art and culture. It is the melting
Okay.
pot. You can find all classical dance styles here living in harmony. The governing bodies of classical dance are in Delhi. The major bodies. So Delhi is a melting pot. It's a multicultural place, and Delhi itself has so much rich culture. But Delhi has, I have it's you can say almost 10 years I'm living Delhi, and it after you've lived here for so long, becomes home. When you live, you breathe, you do everything on your daily basis. It's home. Even like when I go out and travel for work, I quickly want to come back to Delhi. That's the
Okay.
feeling.
Okay.
That home feeling which I
Yeah.
have for Delhi.
Yeah. Okay. So, one last question. What are your other interests apart from Odissi that you are involved with most of the hours of the day? What do you do in your free time when you get it?
When I get my free time, I like, yeah, that was the question. When I get free time,
Yeah.
uh, mm, I like to garden. I do a lot of gardening, and I do baking also if I get the opportunity to
Okay.
bake. But
Okay.
recently, I started divulging into Reiki and Shambhala, which is another style of
Okay.
Reiki, and
Uh-huh.
crystals and whatnot, I, for my spiritual enhancement. So
Okay.
yoga, of course, is part of my dance. So yoga and dance, they're synonymous. But
So that you do
these are
on
the
your
things that
own or you have a guru in spiritualism?
initially I was going to yoga classes, but now I've acquired so much knowledge I do on my own.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, so on my free time, it's mostly these things, but
Oh,
more so into what Reiki. I'm practicing Reiki and
okay.
crystals.
Okay. Okay. And what is one message that you would want to give to the upcoming dancers, especially in Odissi?
Um, it's more towards, I'll say, towards the parents than the kids. If your child leave Odissi because Indian art and culture is a huge umbrella. Any If your child has an inclination towards Indian art and culture, whether it's dance, painting, theater, music, encourage them. Let them do it because we are living in a society that we are running after, the glamour of being a doctor and a lawyer and money. And of course, there's money in what we do. It's not that we don't work or strive to earn. But a person is happier when they're doing what they love than doing to follow the flow of society. So there's a lot of prestige in doing Indian art and culture. There's no career is better than the other. That's my belief in life. My funda is no career is better than the other. We all are equal.
True.
So if your child has that inclination, and as a teenager, if you feel that the inclination is to this, I mean, of course, you get your academic education, whatever else, but you pursue, because we have students, ma'am has students who have done their college education, but they're dancers and they've become full-time dancers.
Okay.
So that's my message.
Okay. Follow your passion.
Follow your passion.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, Vinod, for talking to us. And it
Thank you
was
so
nice
much.
talking to you. And we wish you all the best for your day after tomorrow's performance and all the other performances that are lined up with you. Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much.
Thank you so much.
Namaskar.